Hey everybody, Daddy back again, and I have a very special guest with me today. I should have asked you this before we started the call. Should I call you ZerosGal or Zero, or what would you like to be called?
You can just call me Zeros.
All right, Zeros. Got it, multiple zeros. So we just had an incredible set.
Yeah, it was good. It was 3 games, which I'm happy about, and I got to show off some cool tech in one of the games. But yeah,
Yeah, I was really caught off guard by that. Can you explain your thought process there with the Hydreigon weakness policy Registeel setup?
yeah. So I didn't even think about Bulldoze on Hydreigon when I was drafting the team. Someone else brought it up after I drafted. But just looking at your team and the speed tiers on it, really the only thing that I was worried about on lead was Tauros. I knew you were going to have one Scarf on your team, and I wasn't. I didn't think it was going to be Sylveon. I thought it was going to be Tauros. So I felt pretty safe leading Hydreigon with a Chople Berry next to Registeel. After Bulldoze, I outspeed basically everything except for Tauros and all the flying types I could hit with Rock Slide.
Yeah, that was a really interesting tech. I was my plan was to prep for the Hydreigon to make sure that I could outspeed it as long as it wasn't scarfed. I went with my scarf Sylveon, and then the Tauros with Icy Wind lead, which I think you expected. That's probably why you had the female Meowstic, which is a rare one.
Yeah, so I thought for certain you would expect Imprisoned Trick Room.
I did.
And so I knew you would have to prep for something to deal with Imprisoned Trick Room. I thought you were gonna bring Morgrim next to Dusknoir to just fake out the Meowstic. I mean, because I can't fake out the Dusknoir, and if you have a Mental Herb, I can taunt it. I don't know, maybe you expected Roar or Whirlwind or something to deal with Trick Room, but honestly, I played a couple practice games with a friend, and I mean, trying to delay Trick Room is just delaying the inevitable. It's really hard to keep you from getting up Trick Room. So that's what I was expecting you to do in this game.
Yeah, Trick Room. I felt like if the game was gonna go into Trick Room, I would be at a big advantage. But I also figured that you would definitely prep for that. So I had Trick Room on my team as kind of like just if she lets me set it up, great, I get it set up. But then I saw that female Meowstic, and I'm like, okay, so you definitely prepped for my Tauros lead, because Intimidate looked pretty good into your team, other than female Meowstic, which I did not really expect to see. So that one caught me off guard a little bit. But yeah, I decided, and I worked with another new coach this week. Dan the man helped me do a little bit of prep this week. So we talked about some crazy sets that I wanted to run. So Magnezone looked pretty good into your team because you didn't have a ton of ground coverage. Earthquake on Registeel. I don't think I even realized that Registeel got Earthquake. I probably would have prepped differently if I had known that, which I should know. Like, it's obvious. But yeah, so we have this Magnezone set that we devised that's pretty ludicrous. So Iron Defense, Body Press, and Rest with a Lumberry.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting the rest, but I did think you would bring Iron Defense Body Press.
Really?
Just trapped Registeel in next to, I know, something else that can't really touch Magnezone and go for an Iron Defense. I can't really go for Earthquake unless Hydreigon is next to me or Noibat. But I'm not going to bring Noibat to more than one game.
I can't believe that you brought Noibat. I didn't think that thing
And
was
it
coming
actually
in
did something.
It did do something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that what happened at the beginning of that first game? I feel like it was so long ago.
It has the interesting combination of taunt and whirlwind. So no matter what I frisk on your Dusk Noir, I could stop Trick Room either way.
Okay, that's really smart. Okay, and I did lead the Dusk Noir first game, so that's a really great call. But then it just doesn't do enough, right? Other than that.
Now, like I have Super Fang on it, and it is relatively fast. I mean, it's 55 speed, which, but it actually outsped a lot of your stuff, especially if you were going the Trick Room route.
Right, yeah, a lot of things that would, if they were min speed, you would outspeed it, right?
Right. But yeah, you brought a lot of stuff that I was not expecting. I didn't expect the Poliwrath, and because I expected the Morgrim, I didn't expect you to bring Rhydon. I actually had Magical Leaf on Meowstic originally, and I swapped it for Protect, because Protect is just so good when you're trying to stall out Trick Room turns.
Right.
But
Magical Leaf
I really wish I kept Magical Leaf.
Yeah, Magical Leaf would have hurt. Yeah, Poliwrath looked really good into your team. Even though Poliwrath is not very good, it was like, fighting type and water type defensively looked pretty good into your team. There was, Meowstic could hit it pretty hard with Psychics. Other than that, and obviously Hydreigon threatens everything all the time. But Hydreigon is kind of scary to bring when I have Sylveon, right? If I have ways to go first, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And that's the reason I wasn't sure if you were going to bring Sigilyph and go for a Tailwind, because Hydreigon does outspeed Sigilyph by 1 point.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, Sigilyph, I don't know. Sigilyph didn't feel great to me this week. Morgrim did. But I decided to go with a little bit more power instead. It kind of came down to like, okay, Dragonite or Morgrim. And then it was like, you know what, screw it, let's throw Rhydon on there. Like if Trick Room gets set up, Rhydon does really good under Trick Room. It's really bulky with Eviolite, and it has a 130 attack stat, which is kind of wild. So yeah, I mean, it was a really weird plan this week. I didn't run Protect on anything. But it kind of worked out, yeah.
Yeah, it was a really fun game. Yeah, and it's a shame, because Sigilyph is my favorite Pokemon. I was hoping it would come, but I didn't think it would.
Yeah. Sigilyph is your favorite. That's an interesting choice. I've never met anybody else that likes Sigilyph that much. I'm a Jolteon guy, so my personal fave. So before we go, I just wanted to say that I think your team is very cool. It's one of my favorite teams in the whole league. So when we did the power rankings, I was like, I love how many options there are on this team. I mean, the two babies at the bottom, maybe not quite as much. But the rest of it, I feel like there's some really cool synergies in there, and some really good supports, and some threats that you got to prep for every week, and then they might just not show up. Like, you got to be ready for Regigigas, but you don't have to bring it all the time.
Yeah, and even like last week, I brought Regigigas, but I didn't bring anything to get rid of Slow Start. I just liked that it had Wide Guard and some good moves on it. But yeah, you need to look at what your opponent has, because not every strategy is going to work every week. But yeah, it definitely makes the opponent think during prep.
Yeah, for sure. I was kind of expecting Wheezing this week. I thought you might bring the Terrain.
Oh, that was another thing that I found interesting. I thought for sure you would bring Hyper Voice and Moonblast on Sylveon, just in case I brought Neutralizing Gas Wheezing and turned all of your normal moves back into normal moves.
Yeah, I did not. That would have been bad. So I had Hyper Beam in the other slot. So yeah, Neutralizing Gas really would have neutered that Sylveon this week. But
you just had so many like fighting moves that I didn't think I could bring Regigigas.
yeah, Regigigas was kind of a tough matchup, and I put extra fighting moves just specifically for that. Also, Registeel shares that weakness. Registeel is so tanky. After game 2, I was terrified. I'm like, how can I possibly beat this thing? You know?
Yeah.
So, anyways, it was a really great set. Thanks for coming to talk to me, and good luck with the rest of the season.
Yeah, super great match. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
All right, take it easy. Bye, everybody.